a mom. And then to thank the good Lord for this beautiful day He's given us to celebrate the life of an amazing woman. Amazing, our mom, our Inai, our grandma, our Lola, our auntie, our friend, our kababayan. To pay tribute to my mom, I must pay tribute to my brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters. I only have one sister. I'm Gloria Omania. I'm the younger of the sisters. My Auntie Norma has been going around telling everyone she's 39. Don't let her fool you. I'm 39, she's 40. My mom loved every day of her life, so much so that she documented every detail in a journal. So some of what I want to share with you, you'll be able to go back to Lola Fausta's journals, thanks to my dear niece Melanie, who has been diligently transcribing her numerous journal entries onto this blog. My mother lived with us in our home the last quarter of her 100 years of life. This morning, my Kuya Brig told me that she was lucky to have my family. But the truth is, we were lucky to have her. And I might be expected to thank my brothers and my sister for entrusting me with her care. They didn't entrust me with her care. They gifted me with the joy of having her in my life every single day. So I want to pay tribute to my brothers and my sister, because of all the years, she has reminded me of the early times when we first immigrated to the United States from the Philippines. We came here in 1956. I was 6 at the time, so you're not even calculating my I was 6 at the time and too young to fully understand the struggles we were going through at the time. Can you imagine taking in a family of 8 in your 3-bedroom, 1-bath home in Vallejo? Well, that's what the Tamayo family did. And my Kuya Brig is here. I want to acknowledge that. That's where we stayed the first 6 years we were here in the United States. My dad struggled to find a job, so we were farm worker family. We picked prunes. For me, it was more play, being 6. My older siblings, my Kuya, joined my dad in shaking the prune trees. The fruits would fall on the ground, and we little ones would pick it up and put them in the boxes. You'll read in my mom's journals how much we were paid for each box, just how much detail she put in her journals. We were struggling financially. My Kuya, barely 18, enlisted in the Navy and applied to be assigned in the submarine for the extra pay. And every month, he sent home a monthly allotment to help my parents make ends meet. We eventually were able to buy a home in Stockton. Why Stockton? My father worked at Livermore. We were in Vallejo at the time. But I'm a mix of my mother and my father. The outspoken, assertive side of me comes from my dad. My dad was told when we were happened to be in Stockton and looking at some houses, he was told that he couldn't buy this house because it was on the wrong side of town. It was on the white side of town. So that was all it took. And before I knew it, I was going to El Dorado Elementary School on the north side of Stockton and living at 205 Magnolia Street. I went to a school that only had 4 Filipinos, and 3 of them were my brothers. my mother who was having a seizure. I was crawling in bed and being put in the bed, scared to death, watching my sister, but having every confidence that she knew what she was doing. My sister's my role model. Could you imagine beckoning a fifth grader to come home to deal with a flooding issue in your basement? My sister had us all come home. I was a first grader, I think, at the time. Linda was a second grader, and Mario was in fifth grade. You remember that? There was, I guess, a plumbing breakage in the basement, and the whole basement was flooded in our home in Stockton. So Mario, the fifth grader, was beckoned to come home and deal with it. Called the plumber, did this. That same fifth grader became Associate Justice of the Hawaii State Supreme Court, something my mom was so proud of. And I remember also those years in Stockton, because, you know, finances were so hard, but, you know, we never relied on public assistance. Together, as a team, even the younger ones did what we could. My brother, except for me, I was at the other end of the spectrum. I was more the one being cared for than being the one giving the care. But Lindo and Mario had paper routes. And while other paper boys were saving their tips and working hard to make bonuses and rewards for new bikes and so forth, my two brothers were bringing home toasters and things we needed in our home. And when other kids were going to the carnivals to win those big fluffy stuffed animals, my brothers were pitching dimes into the pit to win plates and bowls and cups for our home. The younger ones also contributed to our happy household. Cesar was the good kid. You could put him in one spot, and he would be there 3 hours later. And now you understand why Anthony is so patient. Why Melanie is the way she is. And then came Michael. Michael was a surprise for all of us. Mom was 47 when he was born. Now you know how old he is. But my purpose in life during that time was to carry his diaper bag. And you can see the family pictures during those days. And I'm standing on the picture on the side, the diaper bag on my shoulder. Now, my family has been gifted over the last 25 years to have the daily presence of this wonderful, wonderful woman in our lives. And I have to thank my husband, Lou. How many of you would invite your mother-in-law to live with you? She's here. You should raise your hand. My husband insisted that my mother move in with us when she ended up living alone. My father had passed. My brothers had been taking turns living with her, and then, you know, got married and moving into their own homes. And I have to tell you the truth, I wasn't so sure how that was going to work. We have 2 kids. But, you know, God has a plan. During that time, we were renovating our home. We were adding a couple bedrooms and a bath. And it was so timely. And I have to say, you know, some of you probably assume that Lou married me for my sexy looks. But the truth is, he married me for my mom's cooking. The first day they met, they bonded immediately. My mother loved to cook, and she loved the responses from her good cooking. And Lou had the funniest responses. My mother didn't Didn't spoil him, no, not really. But if you were there last night, Lou did tell the story that he invited Mom to live with us because she was such a strong advocate for him. She was the one that would encourage me to cook his dinner and to bring him his slippers. In your dreams. My children know how lucky and blessed you were to have her in their lives. She didn't miss one graduation, one Jason's football games. She was there for everything in the most enthusiastic and spirited way. I coached the girls in cheerleading, and so we went to all these competitions. I don't know how many of you been to a cheerleading competition. Headache. A lot of girls yelling all day long. And we would try to take breaks in the middle of it. We'd tell my mom, come on, Mom, let's go out. She didn't want to miss anything. She would sit there for 8 hours straight, watching all of the performances. My mom passed beautifully this Friday night, surrounded by family representing 3 generations. I will miss my mom. She was my best friend. We did everything together. From morning till night. We went shopping together. We got our pedicures together. She was such a strong support for my work. She was a part of my work. She supported my boss in every way, Tom Perlickson, her favorite politician. And she was a Democrat, you guys. A very strong Democrat. If you could see some of the photos that will go in the journal, a photo of her when we lived in Livermore, there's a framed picture of the Kennedys on the wall. But she respected the office of the president, and when she campaigned for John Kerry, and she was so disappointed when he lost, Kawawa naman. She grew to support and respect President Bush because she liked Laura Bush. She was pretty. She always had her hair down. But I can remember, we have a lot of memories. We're so blessed. I had the gift of having her every day, and now we have the gift of her journals. We have, thanks to Melanie, we can go to it at any time. You can comment and expand on all of those memories. I want to conclude with this. I will never forget my mother's face, the sound of her voice, the gentleness of her touch. They let us know we were loved. I'll never forget the traditions she handed down, the things that she stood for. They are her gifts and our legacy. Let's never forget, and let us always know that we honor her every day in how we live and who we are. Love you, Mom. I'll miss you.
Please rise for